What's up, guys? Welcome back. It's Matt, and I apologize if this is awkwardly intimate, but this is my bedroom, and I'm pretty proud that I've managed to keep it quite tidy since I got back from Scotland last month. And I wanted to share with you my secret to waking up every morning in an immaculate bedroom. This is my print studio. I've posted a few short video segments up here, but generally I try to keep my YouTube channel out of this room because even at its cleanest, it's not the most sightly space. It's not only where I do all the printing, framing, matting, packaging, and shipping of my fine art photography, but it's also home to all my outdoor gear, the supplies and inventory that I keep for art shows and galleries, random cardboard boxes, apparently this hammer. So over the winter, print orders are slow, if not non-existent, and the studio does tend to become this way through disuse. But I've got a strong start to the spring print season this year with 5 print orders. Thank you guys so much for that. So I've got to get this room whipped into shape. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to watch me clean my studio as this video, although I think a few of you weirdos might enjoy that. I've got a feeling which ones. But hopefully by the end we will get to make those 5 great landscape prints, including 2 prints from my new Scotland gallery, so you might want to stick around for that. Where I really think I can make this video useful and interesting is by continuing the discussion that we started last week, giving some good introductory advice to beginning landscape photographers. Right now, after the holiday seasons, there usually are plenty of you. And as part of this cleaning project, I've got to clear out an accumulation of like 20 years of landscape photography gizmos, gears, and gimmicks, which turned out to be a huge waste of money, especially considering that for many of them, I've found alternatives that work better for cheaper or about the same price. So stick around and I'll try to tell you which gear I think is worth investing in to help you get next level photos and which gimmicks you should avoid at all costs. But first, I'm in my comfy clothes, it's storming outside, and I've got my work cut out for me. Okay, I'm not going to tell you how many hours I've been working on this. Maybe you can tell by my stubble, but this actually, believe it or not, represents a pretty substantial improvement. I've modified my bookcase so that it now actually holds books. I moved the desk over here, so it's going to make it a little more amenable to actually doing matting and framing on it. It gives me a little more space, and maybe I can host discussions here a little more easily instead of doing that in my kitchen. I got some of my artwork up on the wall, so that's much better than just having it piled up. And I made a pretty good stack of photo junk here for us to go through. But first, I'm at a good stopping point where I think I can rip off the first few prints. I'd like to get them signed and dry and delivered to my client this afternoon. So let's switch gears here for a little bit and use this room for its intended purpose. Okay, I delivered the prints. They were well received. I had to change into regular clothes, unfortunately. What am I thinking? One second. That's better. This is like the bumper sticker grade quality sticker. We're giving these away all next week as a charms offensive before we launch this Indiana themed Instagram account. So come check us out at Instagram.com/IndianaCharms or use the @IndianaCharms and figure out how you can win a sweet, sweet sticker like this for your whatever. Okay, where was I? Had to wear clothes, drop off went well, client liked the pictures, flawless victory, lots of work left to do in this room. Let me catch up with you in just a minute. Why didn't someone tell me? Don't worry, I'm going to tell you. This basket is full of stuff that's been a waste of my money and a waste of my time. I'm going to make sure that you don't fall for some of the same gimmicks that I did with this photo junk. Okay, first off, useless camera bags. So this camera bag is, let me get my camera. This camera bag cracks me up. It's just big enough to hold my camera with the lens on it. And that's it. I see people buy these camera bags all the time thinking, well, I don't want a big camera bag. And that's a good point. A big camera bag is also cumbersome. But this bag is essentially just a case. Carrying your camera in a bag like this is just going to prevent you from getting it out, and you're going to miss a lot of photo opportunities. I highly recommend, if you can, just carry your camera on the camera strap. It'll be ready to go when the moment's right and you need it. So yes, if you're not accustomed to carrying your camera, you're nervous about damaging it, this can afford you a little protection. But once you are comfortable carrying your camera and you're mindful that it's attached to you, I think you'll find it much more useful to just carry it on its own. If you are going out with more lenses and accessories than you can carry on your person, check this out. So this is a sling bag, and in my mind, this is the ultimate compromise between versatility and accessibility for those few times when I'm carrying more gear than I can hold in my hands. So I use this bag like 90% of the time. When you need to use it, you just sling it around, rip open the pocket, grab your camera out, zip it back up, sling it back around, you're ready for the shot. So it holds significantly more stuff than that other bag, but it's not as cumbersome as a full-on camera backpack that you have to take on and off all the time. Speaking of taking off, comes off really easy with a clip if you do need to completely remove it. And so I put my camera in here, and when I go out to make YouTube videos, I put my video camera and 2 lenses here in the top pouch as well. And then there's still plenty of room for batteries, memory cards, and other accessories. And then I'm actually able to strap 2 tripods here to the side. So there's almost nothing that this bag can't do for me. I like this one in particular because it's got a couple of great features that I haven't found in other sling bags. So if you want this exact one, be sure to use the link in the video description. So for example, it's got a second optional strap to go across the other side, so you can cross sling it, which is really great for those times like that I'm riding a bicycle ride or I need some extra mobility so that it doesn't accidentally sling around. It's nice and secure if I'm doing a lot of heavy duty hiking, stuff like that. Actually, I'm pretty comfortable even running in this bag. Another feature I've only found in this exact model of sling bag is it's got a built-in lens wipe. How cool is that? If you saw the video where Garrett Gillette and I went to the Mississippi Palisades State Park, for example, it was like a week after his video where he had dropped his M50 in the mud. So this came in super handy. If I take my camera out in this bag, it's impossible to leave without a lens wipe. Another awesome feature of this model that I haven't found in other sling bags is this built-in rain cover, and it's super easy to get on and off, and it stores really easily in this built-in pouch. So even if it just starts sprinkling, I rip that out. It just takes like 2 seconds to put it on and off. So if you got a little extra gear to carry, this I think is the way to go. I should have been more delicate with that. That was good gear. All right, next up, it looks like I've got a lot of cases for crappy tripods. Look at, I probably got half a dozen broken generic tripods in here. You know what they say about tripods? You buy once, you cry once, and it's totally true. But I'll tell you something that'll save you a lot of money. I broke this one snowboarding in Japan. So I use 3 different tripods. There's no one tripod that's great for everything. I've got a really big tall tripod that's terrible to carry around in my backpack. And I've got a more backpack friendly tripod, and then I've got a really tiny tripod that I use for like small video work, like these vlogs. None of them was the cheapest. None of them really is like the most expensive. But what they all have in common is they're all completely serviceable with replaceable parts, and they're meant to last for life. So the best advice that I can give you for a tripod is don't buy a new one. As landscape photographers especially, we need a good sturdy tripod, a durable tripod, and one that can withstand a lot of abuse in the elements. That's the perfect use case for getting something well made that's meant to last a long time, like a used tripod. So in the description section of this video, and like every video, Usually the first link is a link to a reputable used gear retailer in the Midwest, used Photo Pro, that I use almost exclusively and that I got my used tripods from, and I highly recommend them. So go check out their website, usedphotopro.com. Use my affiliate link if you can. That lets them know that I provided you this advice and that I sent you, and they will reward me with a commission at no extra cost to you. Actually, it's Used Photo Pro's 10th year anniversary this week, and they're running a special sale through, I think, February 23rd or 24th. So you can get 10% off their already low price. So if you're tripod shopping, you need a tripod, go check out their inventory, see what they can help you out with. Dear God, why do I even bother with all these? I think I kept all these tripods because I had some designs to like try to Frankenstein together one good tripod out of all the bad ones, but no, just get a good tripod. Okay, the next big gimmick that always gets landscape photographers is filter kits. I know when you're starting out, you don't know what filters you need, and so you go buy a filter kit and it's got like all kinds of filters that are fun to play and experiment with, but you end up spending more money than you need to get a bunch of really low quality filters. So I'm gonna recommend some filters to you that will be the most useful for you starting out with landscape photography. And then you can skip some of these garbage filters because they'll make your pictures look like crap. They're really terrible to use. Most of them have like a strong color cast that's almost impossible to correct for. All right, so let's start with the bad. Any filter that's not made of glass is a no-go. It's really hard to shop online for filters because a lot of them don't say what material they're made of, and I've ended up buying a lot of, like these for example, are plastic. Actually these square and rectangular filters are kind of special use. I know you'll see a lot of landscape photographers use them on like videos or maybe if you read blogs or whatever, but I don't recommend starting out with these, and I find very little use for them, period. Right, for what I paid for a set of like 10 of these, I could have gotten one really nice filter. Okay, so my recommendation is a good 3-stop neutral density filter. That'll be really great for your waterfall shots. And then a good high quality circular polarizing filter, because the lower quality ones either don't have a strong polarization, sometimes they can cause some weird artifacts in your images like dark spots. I've had some where my lens couldn't reach the full focusing distance. It's really hard to tell these things when you're shopping for filters online. Use my links in the video description to get filters that I've used and can verify work well and that I recommend for you. Filters, filters, filters. Okay, here's another frequent offender. Not the highest priority, but as soon as you can, get rid of the strap that comes with your camera. It's uncomfortable, it's not especially secure, it doesn't have a lot of extra features, and I know you like to show off that you've got a Canon EOS 6D Mark II or whatever, and maybe your camera brand affiliation is a point of pride for you. You're more likely to attract the attention of a thief than someone out scouting for a new photographer for National Geographic. If you got the wrist strap, that's especially useless. So if you can, maybe a small strap like this is good. I like this one. It's if you can outfit it with some quick disconnect clips like this one from Peak Designs, that's also really helpful, but those are a little pricey. I really like this one. I'll put a link to it down in the description. It was pretty affordable, less, I think, than that little designer strap. It's got locking quick disconnect buckles, which is really handy. And then you can buckle the buckles together just on the camera to make for a hand strap. And then the neck strap has got some handy pockets, zipper pockets that you can put batteries and memory cards into. So even if I just leave home with just the camera strap, I can be well supplied. It's got some clips on it too, and then the strap is a really nice, comfortable, stretchy neoprene material. Okay, the next thing I think you should avoid is so bad that I don't even have it. I've owned 2 of them and I threw them both away. And that's the wide angle macro attachment that screws onto the front of your lens. Listen, I fell for it too. It sounds too good to be true, and that's because it is. So what this product advertises is that you'll screw it onto the front of your standard focal length kit zoom lens, and it'll transform it into this like amazing wide angle lens. And it's got this like thing, and you like take it apart, and it's got this glass thing, and like you put it on the front backwards, and like it'll let you get like super close for macro shots. So the macro end kind of works a little bit. The wide angle attachment, in my experience, no matter what lens I put it on, just puts a black circle around the image, and by the time you crop that out, it's like the same focal length as it was before. Also, it's like really blurry around the edges, and it makes this like super ugly octagonal flare. It's the worst thing I've ever bought, and I got conned into buying it twice. I'll show you what I recommend instead. Okay, this is a set of extension tubes. If you haven't seen these, they go between the camera body and the lens to move the lens away. So these take away the lens's ability to focus to infinity and lets it focus really close up on close-up subjects. So for like the macro close-up stuff, this is a lot better than putting a piece of cheap glass between your lens and your subject. So I used to have the just hollow tube kind, and I went to use Photo Pro, and they upgraded me to these that have got the electrical contacts on the inside. That'll let you still control the aperture and autofocus and lens stabilization and all that stuff. Okay, so what about for wide angle? In this instance, I'm sorry to say there is no great gimmick to give you a better result than just using a wide angle lens. Fortunately, I've tried a lot of different wide angle lenses, and there are a couple that I can highly recommend, and I'll put links to them in the video description. I'll also link to a gallery of an artist that I know who uses the lens that I recommend the most, and you can browse through, and I think you'll agree that this lens will give you perfectly suitable results, especially if you're just starting out. If you're anything like me, you'll have a lot of fun aspiring to make work as strong as that of the artist that I will link to, and the great news is you can get a dedicated lens to give you those results for not much more than you would spend on this gimmicky wide-angle attachment. Okay, I still got 2 prints to make, and now I got the room to make them. Let's roll. So one print was too large for my printer. I had to order it from a lab. That's great. The other one, I've got to do the nerve-wracking thing that I do once a year of turning on the printer. Hopefully it turns on. Got a flashing light. That's good. And then it's going to dump a whole bunch of really expensive ink. And then hopefully we can make a nice big print. Produce of a hard day's work. These look incredible if I do say so myself. It's like you haven't seen it until you've seen it on paper. I can't wait to get these in the mail and out to my client tomorrow. I think she's gonna love them. And I see you guys eyeballing them too, but don't even think about doing something rude like going to my website, mattramsey.gallery, and browsing my gorgeous Scotland collection and making me put these printers back to use, making something beautiful like this for your wall. You'd hate that. But I'll tell you one thing you could do, is if you would just give this video a thumbs up, if you appreciate the advice that I gave you, so somebody else can get that advice. And if any of the gear that I mentioned today looked interesting to you, be sure to use my affiliate links to check it out. And you can subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see a more in the field type photography video. That's normally what I do here, and I'll have one of those coming for you next week. But until I see you next time, you keep an eye out and a foot forward, and thank you for watching. Okay, Google, turn on the bedroom light.